Hey all, Hunter editing. Just wanted to make a note that my power went out multiple times while we recorded this episode. Sorry about the audio quality. We did the best we could. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, goblins and ghouls,
Welcome to Turn Off the Century.
the movie podcast exploring films from the turn of the millennium through the end of its first decade. I'm Robbie, and I'm joined by my fellow auteurs, Hunter and Sauce. Hang out as we revisit the spoofs, bangers, crimes, and chaos of an era we're still trying to understand. Today's movie, the 2001 classic,
Y tu mamá también.
Pendejo también se tiró a la mía, ¿no?
¿Pero y qué pasó con el 3?
¿Cuál tres?
Sí, del manifiesto secuestro. Eso de no echar los polvos con las notas de los
No, es el
cinco.
5, es el 5, es el 5. ¡Abre! ¡Vete a la... Clásico, a huevo te tenía que salir lo pinche nacote, güey. Pues este pinche naco te va a partir toda tu madre, cabrón. Me la pelas, naco, me la pelas. ¡Bájate, cabrón! Ching.
Y Ana también la muerde.
No,
tampoco
no,
sabe
no,
nada.
no, ella sí la mama rico.
No mames, cabrón, lo que no te la había sopleteado, güey.
Nomás la puntita, no te
Oh,
ofendas.
y se perdió el plato fuerte.
¿O no son bien ricas las mamadas, chuy?
welcome! Turn Off the Century. I'm here with my fellow auteurs, Hunter, Sauce. What's up, boys?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm so good. Every time
Oh,
we
hell
do this, I'm the best.
I'm glad-
You're gonna get me every time.
God, so good has become the beginning intro of all this. So good.
My whole
Oh.
goal is, I think, to catch Sauce off guard every single time.
I've already resigned myself that I'm gonna let Hunter go first and then play off of that.
Yeah.
So Hunter,
No, I like
Hunter's he's a real normal guy. He's a real nice normal guy. He's gonna give you the straight shooter, straight truth.
He is a
And
straight
I'm gonna
shooter.
be
for
I'm gonna
true.
be drunker than I was last time. So that's
Hey, Sauce, me too. I'm trying to catch the vibe of this movie, and I'm trying to get nice and trashed and smoking constant cigarettes. There's a lot of cigarette smoking in this movie, which I appreciate.
Well, Robert, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about the 2001 classic Y tu mamá también by Alfonso Cuarón. Great
Well,
movie.
who's in it?
Ah, dude, you're gonna have to fill in that one. 'Cause
You're right.
I don't
So it's
remember
starring
names.
Diego Luna, Gael Garcia Bernal, and Maribel Verdú. And there's some other guys who I don't know who they are because I haven't seen them in
Yeah.
other movies. But
There's Cassian Andor and the rest.
yes, and Mozart in the Jungle.
Yes.
Now that's a movie.
Hey guys, I
So-
thought we were watching like Phone Booth and Daredevil, and now we're watching good movies. What's going on?
Yeah, we're watching movies.
Anyway,
for
I
actual
played the
adults
PS3
now.
version, so I played the PlayStation 3 port. So I don't know how you guys watched this, but
I watched it on Netflix.
very nice.
Unfortunately, watched on Netflix. I did get the warning at the beginning to make sure they let me know that there was smoking and to be aware and that my sensibilities may be offended.
I started to watch it on Hulu, but I forgot that I don't have the ads-free version of Hulu, so I went, no,
Oof.
I'm not fucking doing this. Yeah.
Hell, the
Oh,
wife
no,
put in some
I-
more hours at the hospital factory. That's fucking.
I don't have the ad-free version of anything, so I got a couple ads on this one, and it sucked.
Wait, there's ads on Netflix?
Dude, there's ads on Netflix now.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Couldn't tell you.
dude. It sucks. Yeah, I know. I need to just start doing that more again. I've stopped, pirating stuff generally because it was so much easier for me. Now it's like you've made it so difficult to watch stuff without ads that I just.
We've talked about
what's the point
Catholicism
anymore?
a few times in this podcast, and that's very Catholic of you. It was too easy for you to pirate, so now you deliberately punish yourself by watching the ads.
Well, now I'm going to go back to pirating because this is getting out of hand.
So I watched it. My friend, I showed him the pleasure of Criterion sale, and I remember him buying that, and I was like, "Oh, word!" And this was like probably even like a year ago, and him going,
Nice.
"This is straight up like my top 5 favorite movies." And I've been trying to look for a reason to watch this one, and I kept pitching it to him, and it's always like, "No, the vibe's not right. The vibe's not right." And then I think the stars aligned, because maybe we put it out into the universe that after what is it? Where are we on episode 4 right now? So after 3 weeks of watching a bunch of movies made for dumb teenage boys trying to be about adult shit, we decided to flip the script, and the vibe was right, and we put on a movie about dumb teenage boys, but actually made for adults.
That's truly the best way to describe this movie, because it was weird to actually watch like a real movie in the past.
It almost made me mad that we've
watched a bunch of bullshit.
It's been like Loki, and we'll go back to those episodes now and be like, I really try to give everything its due. You know, like I look for the gold in the sewer. But how about like what is your guys' experience of this movie? Because I got a little anecdote. It's not my first time. It's not my first rodeo.
When I remember this, because it came out in 2001, and I didn't see it when it came out in 2001 because I was in middle school, whatever. It really wasn't on my radar. But back in I think it was like 04, 05, IFC had come on the scene, and they showed this movie a lot. And as a young teen, I'm glad that I watched this movie as a dumb teenage boy and then now as a dumb adult man, because it gave me two different perspectives of this movie. Because I remember when I first started watching it, when it would pop on IFC, I remember thinking like, well, I mean, there's just hot people in this movie having sex a lot, and I'm just kind of looking to watch that. But then you watch it now and you go, oh, wait a second, they were actually trying to say something. But this movie actually opened me up a lot to the idea of foreign film in general. It kind of helped give to me that there was movies outside of Japan or America. I was like, oh wait, every country does movies.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience, I think.
I think the part that caught my eye. Actually, you know what, Hunter? You go ahead first.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna say I have a very similar experience with it wasn't my first foreign language movie. It was definitely my first Mexican foreign language film, I think. And I didn't see it right when it came out, but like high school era, so like 04, 05, somewhere in that range. I remember watching it on, I didn't have IFC, but it was something like that. It was like an HBO thing or something like that.
You guys rocked the cable broadcasts of it.
Oh,
first. Yeah.
But I had a black box. I didn't have IFC, but I had a lot of channels. we were set.
You hear that, FBI? Yeah. There's your proof. We got him. This podcast is over. We got him. We got him.
We got him.
No! The elaborate setup. Dad, run hide.
Yeah, it's a podcast about some dumb bullshit you did when you were a teenager. Yeah, whatever. Who cares?
What was cool about IFC 2 showing it was that IFC didn't censor their movies and they didn't put commercials on it. So
brilliant.
You really did get to see it like in its actual form, which is nice.
I had a similar thing with Ghost World with that way. Where
definitely.
They just are showing this like it's a real movie. That's wild.
And so, how do you guys feel about it now? Watching it as
well.
Oh yeah, I'm
sorry. 2001 being when most people were getting their PlayStation 2s, and this is also when I was reaching peak cinephile because Robert Rodriguez was my guy. And I must have seen something on the internet where he's like, watch movies from Mexico, watch movies from all these other countries, and I was like, oh yeah. And what caught my eye about this one was the fact that they didn't translate the title at all. Like they just kept it in Spanish. And the reason I think it stood out to me is like I know I've heard of that because I'm like I've never had to memorize a Spanish title for something to go see it. So the fact that it's called Y tu mamá también, I was like, okay, but what does that mean? And it's like, oh, and your mom too. And I'm like, great title. Absolutely locked in. So I remember renting it because it was a major DVD release too. And popping that in and just like right out the gate being like
the very first scene.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then this also led to somebody at the time, because this was gaining notoriety, and then of people in high school who liked films. Everybody knew about it, and then somebody made the absolute tragic mistake of telling me at the time I bared resemblance to Gael Garcia Bernal. And so then I like made it my goal to watch like everything he's ever been in, just to be like, this is my Mexican movie boyfriend.
Hell yeah! What else has he been in?
There's a great one called Dot the Eye.
Okay.
We might do that. We actually, you know what? Let's save that one. We might do that one later.
Okay. I'm curious.
It's a fun one.
I've never seen that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Motorcycle Diaries.
Yeah,
where he
Motorcycle
plays,
Diaries is great. Yeah.
Yeah. It plays
I'm
Jay.
horrible with actors. I've always relied on you for actors because I have a horrible time remembering actors.
Well, that's what's so fun to like revisit this stuff via this podcast is that I literally like it took me ironically who made me pay attention to who directs things, because everybody knows who like Quentin Tarantino is, Martin Scorsese, like that, or Spielberg. Those are all like, oh, okay, like I have to see that because I know that they made things I've seen before. But it wasn't until reading old electronic gaming monthlies with Hideo Kojima and being like, that's so cool that like this director is trying to be the famous one in this whole production. And then I started paying attention to directors, but for the longest time it was like I'd pick an actor, so say Gael Garcia Bernal or Christina Ricci. I would just like pick an actor and then just watch everything they've done, and that became my means of branching out and like broadening my movie taste.
You see, I did the same thing, but with directors, so that's why I've always kind of been bad
The correct way.
Yeah, exactly.
So okay, so that's and then yeah, so I know you were transitioning into like watching it then versus watching it now, and like staggering fucking difference, because I 100% locked into this movie. I think just the subject matter being about like high school age boys.
Yeah.
This is only like I'm looking at it the whole time going, in 3 years this is totally going to be my life, and this shit rules. Like, being a shithead is absolutely how you should be.
Yeah, I just want to hang out with my boy and smoke cigarettes and we go on a road trip with a hot girl. All right.
This whole movie without a cigarette is like a testament to willpower.
Well, it's so funny watching it now too, and seeing all the like how in your face all the political stuff actually is, and how when I was 17 years old, I just went right over my fucking head.
This is what I love about movies, and then how like time means everything, because like my parents are like, you've seen it once, you never need to see it again. I think the only movie they've ever seen more than twice is Raiders of the Lost Ark. After that, they're like, I grew up in a household of like, you've seen it once, never reflect on it again, never come back, never revisit, never see.
I think 90% of your stories about your dad seeing a movie is him going, we already saw this fucking movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time you talk about your dad, he's like the coolest guy, because I'm just like, that's the best response. Like, why did he just leave the phone booth?
Hey, goddammit, get out the fucking phone booth. You're okay. Run very fast. For those of you who don't know, my dad's a foreigner, so it makes it a lot easier to do that voice. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's crazy. As a teenager, like we were watching it as the teenager, I completely ignored all that stuff too. I mean, obviously, I'm there for like you're seeing sex scenes and stuff like that.
You're right. You're there for the titties. Like, let's be real.
And now I'm closer to the finding out I have cancer stage of my life than I am to the cool beach trip with the boys.
Well,
I feel like.
Do I got a place for you? It's a beach. It's a beach called Heaven's Mouth.
I was gonna say. I thought you were saying it's our brand new Patreon that we probably just launched after episode 2.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know about that. Hold on.
Hold the fort.
Well,
we don't want to deprive these listeners of their precious dollars.
Well, it's funny because as I was watching too, I was comparing it to when I read Catcher in the Rye for the first time, and then when I read it later on in my life.
Very nice, very nice.
Because when I read Catcher in the Rye for the first time, I did identify a lot with Holden, and when I feel like when I watched this movie for the first time in my life, I did identify with both the boys, because it is just like so much of the movie is just the boys broing out,
Yeah, yeah.
And when you're a teenager, that's like that. You're right. That is all you want to do.
Hang out with your boys and cheat on your girlfriend? Yes, that's like all you can think about.
And it really captures that feeling so well of just like, just hanging out with the boys and trying to get laid.
Aside from how we watched it the first time, like, did this movie like have an impact on you guys at all? Or like, because for me, it like just absolutely like shook up my whole shit.
Yeah, no, it actually did have an impact on me because like I said, it kind of opened my eyes that there was more movies, more than just Japan, more than just America, and like that every country in existence makes movies. And I watched this, and there is something about as much as you identify with the boys in the movie, when you get to the end and it drops the heavy shit on you, it does affect you, and it does make you go, oh, well, shit.
I think mine's similar. I don't. I feel like it affects me obviously differently now as an adult, but as a kid, I was affected more in the cinematic way of like you're being exposed to more international cinema. I also really kind of fell in love with Mexico as a teenager through this. I really
Reba,
I
let's
mean
go.
we're pretty. I just like the country, the way it looked and stuff. So I started getting more into Mexican cinema and just Mexican stuff in general. I like Dragon Ball Z and other stuff like that. So it was really a good time in my life.
Real Catholic entertainment.
Yeah, that's why I'm Catholic now, right?
Yeah, you are the most Catholic member of this podcast. All right, so let's open up the movie here because
there's so many thoughts I want to get into, but I'm like, I think you got to talk about when it happens before.
I wrote down in my notes opening with fucking and then parentheses nice.
Yes, and like real fucking too, like not Hollywood fucking. This is how you know you're.
It was very sloppy teenage fucking, which I really appreciate.
Independent cinema fucking. You know,
I'm a huge fan of the Harold and Maude poster on the wall. Like you're gonna get MILFs later, and you're gonna deal with that. That's just
the Harold and Maude stuff. It's funny because I marked that as well. The Harold and Maude. It's like very much kind of telling you what this movie is going to be because it does share a lot of similarities with Harold and Maude. I also thought it shared a lot of similarities with the Jean-Luc Godard movie Weekend, which Weekend is about two bourgeoisie, people going on a road trip to get a selfish desire, and on the way they're passing all the strife and political turmoil and working class and all that stuff because they're just trying to get money. And this is that, but it's just them trying to get pussy,
Yeah, we'll definitely dig a little bit deeper into that once the road trip starts. But we're introduced to Tenoch, played by Diego Luna, and his girlfriend played by, I don't know, the hottest girl I would have had a crush on in high school. And because the sex is even like secondary to like what's really going on. Like what are they talking about while they're having sex together? It's all about it's setting up. This is how you set up a plot, by the way. Just for everybody in Hollywood who's listening, all you guys, J.J. Abrams, I know you don't like to have this in your movies, but people have this thing called sex. And it's not always, and what's crazy is it's not always just about the sex, because when people are talking, that's about the sex, but when they're having the sex, it's about the plot, you see.
What?
So yeah.
Dude, that's wild because they're setting up that they're going to Europe for the summer.
Yes. Her and her best friend are going to Italy and Europe, but mainly Italy, it sounds like.
Well, like I wrote down the first line of the movie, which I thought was the best line of the entire movie, is promise you won't fuck any Italians.
Yes.
And I'm like, awesome, I'm in.
I mean, like one of the best jokes, and I don't know. Here's the thing about intimacy.
Let them know.
And I'm just saying, like, the fact that like what's so funny is like they're having sex, and that's what this movie will ultimately low-key be about. It's not actually about the sex. It's literally about insecurity, and then the fact that they show their closeness, and not even has anything to do with what appears to be full penetrative on screen. It's the fact that they have this established rapport, and the girlfriend's like, she's like, okay, cool, as long as you don't hook up with, and they just start listing ethnicities
for
and
every ethnicity.
Yeah,
that's a 2001 high schooler like moment.
Perfect.
That crosses all cultural boundaries. It's being kind of racist and doing like sexual acts.
Well, it also points to their age and also the time period of the movie, being 2001, of just that, like, that just ultimate, we're just saying anything at this point. Don't fuck Europeans, don't fuck Americans, don't fuck anybody but me.
Yeah, and just how full of shit they fucking are.
Yeah.
reminds me of a car ride I was having to the beach with a friend, and he was like, I'm so glad we're doing this because my girlfriend just went to Italy for a few weeks. And I was like, I don't know if I was like channeling this movie, but I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, no, she's in Italy. So like, that's why I'm free. We can go on this beach trip. And I'm like, You're just like cool with like a bunch of greasy Italian guys putting their dicks in your girlfriend. I just have to say I sucked the air out of that car ride. I thought it was funny, but I don't know how many people saw it.
Yeah, right.
Car ride.
It's
we
only for
call
the real movie
Mama
perverts.
También.
Just kidding, Italians. We love you. You guys make the best movies.
To a beach called Heaven's Mouth.
Yes.
Surprisingly, yeah, he was, and it was with
Wow.
me.
That was your girlfriend? Holy shit. That
Yeah,
sucks,
it was
dude.
my
I'm
girlfriend.
sorry.
So we're introduced to this narrative element where, like, I don't know. Again, I'll always go back to bullshit I had to hear in screenwriting class in film school.
Yeah.
And the use of a narrator. I this movie, it's so funny. It's just a simple device they put in, and it really like takes hold over the entirety of the movie. And I think it's what makes it branch out from being like between film and literature, is that they do this thing where they cut the sound out from going on in the scene, and they give it a pause. They give it a full beat before the narrator starts speaking.
Yeah.
And it's giving you the insight. It's giving you this, like, it's not just a film narrator. It feels like a novel narrator coming in there to fill you in with details that you're going to need to know, but there is no. Yes. There's always like a revelation that is something that I don't think you can organically put into the scene, but it's information you're going to need to know, and even oftentimes information you don't need to know, but all it does is enrich what it is you're watching. So while they'll always tell you that, like, you know, using narrators or narration is this like cheat code, I'm like, I found this. It's the simplest thing in the world, and the only thing they had to do to make it different was add that silence before
That one little beat of silence.
Yeah.
It genuinely pulls you out of the scene to just start like
something I found interesting about it too, and I think it's almost on purpose, is that it happens anytime things start to get too real. It almost allows you to accept the awkwardness and the uncomfortableness happening. I think
they know that even the audience has limits.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so once it starts to get to that point of where, like, this is too real, it can bring you into this and like explain to the audience, like, hey, this is what's kind of going on. And I think it puts you at a sense of ease almost, which I found really interesting.
I think some of them do that, but some of them are kind of like almost taking you out of the fantasy, because there's like when they're driving on the road and they're just like smoking and having a fun time and talking about how lefty girls are hot and stuff.
Right.
And then it's like, over here, a guy who works on bridges or something is dead and got hit by a bus, and they're not going to claim him for 4 days. Or like it'll be like,
it kind of brings you back to reality a little bit.
Yeah,
which our characters are, and we've only described this the first one right here with Tenoch, are oblivious to, and I think that goes hand in hand with the fact that they're really setting up that we're dealing with, like, not just actors playing teenage boys, because they're still pretty young. Like the thing that caught me the most off guard, especially after having seen Andor or anything recent with Gael in it, is that like they're so young. They're so young in this movie.
Yeah, they're babies.
They look like adolescent boys in this, and it's so like oh my god, and it's like taking me back to, like, this is the first time I've seen these actors, so I was like, I thought nothing of it, but now having essentially grown up and seeing how actors look now, you're like, that's fucking wild. So anyways, then we're introduced to Julio, who in a very similar situation. I love how they establish how these guys are like best friends, but like slightly different. He's at his girlfriend's house and waiting with her parents. Like, they have a very different dynamic with him, where they're like we have an eye on them, but we're trusting, you know, and they seem like good kids. But his girlfriend, she can't find her passport, and she's going with Tenoch's girlfriend to Italy, and she's asking for him to help. He's like, well, he'll know. He's really good at looking for stuff. He'll come find it for us. And they immediately jump right back into more fucking, and it's even hilariously more awkward
frantic.
Teenage. Can't even get his pants off. Just immediately, like, just jump in there.
Down by his ankles. Her pants are down by her ankles. Their parents are right downstairs. Like...
And I love that the parents are like, it's this perfect mix of, like, either they are too dumb to know, or they're not dumb at all, and they know exactly what they're doing. And they're like, let the fucking kids have a little bit of fun before they go. It's this perfect mix of of parents
Also-
who are like overbearing versus like oblivious, and I'm like, I think that perfect makes for a way better parent versus
It was that
you know,
weird zone where we first. I think a lot of us probably grew up with the more, not necessarily overbearing, but just more strict parents. Because that was the first. I feel
I
like the
thought
early
I did
2000s.
until I met women.
That's fair. That's fair.
My
When
parents
I-
were not very strict at all.
teenaged women.
Actually,
my parents weren't strict necessarily. I just think that there's a parents as friends kind of thing that kind of popped up a little bit more in more recent years for me. Like I didn't
Right.
really notice it until, I mean, obviously I was more of grown at that point, but in the 2000s it felt like it was a little more common than it was necessarily in the 90s or 80s. I didn't know anyone that had parents like that necessarily, I guess. And also this part kind of starts highlighting a little bit of the differences between the two guys, because they're very similar in attitude and stuff towards their their surroundings, but one is definitely more of a yuppie rich guy, and one of them's coming to kind of from the lower
Yes.
class,
And not just the yuppie rich guy. His dad is a politician.
yes,
And
Big time
I
rich
love
guy.
so as we so they find the passport, and it's very much played for laughs. Like a lot of this movie has so many scenes that hit close to home in a little too real of a way,
for
that are
sure.
played for laughs. We go back to Noche's house, and like now the narrator really starts doing the heavy lifting of kind of filling you in on like not where these guys are now, but where they've been, or both, you could say, but where they've been, and how like Tenoch's name was supposed to be Hernan, but because his father won an election while his wife was pregnant, decided to be like, I want to have my son have a more nationalistic name, so he gave him an Azteca name of Tenoch, and then, like again how just even like that these little subtle moments happen that decide your future going forward. And we are revealed that Diego Luna's mother is an esoteric, very into like stars and other kinds of spirituality, not necessarily
that
Catholicism.
was a very funny scene for me when we get introduced to their drug dealer friend, and
Saba.
yeah, Saba, and they're smoking weed on the balcony, and they're just like they're vibing out, and when the mom walks up, and she's just very much like in the sky, and she's just talking about, oh no, you guys, like, oh, the stars are gonna hit, all that kind of stuff, and
The auras surrounding you.
yeah, that moment of like you and your friends smoking weed, and the adult who comes up who's almost on the same wavelength as you while you were smoking weed is such a real experience.
Yes, and
that
then
I've had
the
so many
irony of
times
that,
in
like,
my life.
the irony that she clearly sees smoke, but Tenoch lets up a cigarette, and it's like come on now, those are bad for you. I don't like that you smoke.
Yeah,
He's like, I can get in trouble for cigarettes, but I'm not going to get in the heap of shit of trouble for smoking weed.
I just thought that was such a fun scene. I liked that his mom kept just walking only on the little concrete slabs, like she never hit the
Yeah.
grass. I thought that was such a nice little touch.
She's
From
so
the
in touch with
actress.
nature, but she won't disturb it.
Yeah, and especially in their big beautiful house in Mexico,
Yeah, and the boys with their drug dealer, like true like shithead reggae listening fucking friend, start trying to plan out their summer now that the girls are gone, and we do see them take off at the airport, and all of the teenage affection shit is like still on full display.
Yeah.
So before we get to Tenoch's house, they're the same day. The same fucking day, immediately start planning out. We need to start parties. We need to invite whores.
I mean, they were planning it at the airport, man. They're like,
yeah, they didn't even
these
wait.
guys take so long, and their like girlfriends are like 10 feet away from them. Like, God, can't these late girls get out of here? Jesus.
Yeah, we already fucked them. Can't they leave so we can try to fuck other people?
Yeah. But they better not fuck anybody else. That's where I draw the line. Like, I can do as much as I want, but
You
no.
can't insult a man's pride now. Come on.
Also, a line I wanted to point out, just because I think it happened a little bit before, when they're talking about what they're going to do in their lives, and I just really liked the line, "Fuck you, I'm going to be a writer." I just thought that was a really good line, and I really want.
Does that come from Tenoch? Because his dad he's given all the privileges of a upper middle class to, I was just say upper class family
I would say upper class,
Mexico
yeah.
at the time.
Very
Yeah,
upper class.
is that Is that because it's brought up later that his dad is insisting that he should study economics.
Economics.
Yeah, that's the big
And
thing.
yet him going like, well, I don't want to do that. I want to, I want to do this. I want to go to literature class. And he goes like, well, literature is like, you don't know anything about the real world, basically. He goes, well, fuck you, I'm going to be a writer. And I just think that's such a really succinct, great line to throw in there.
Which, again, me watching it at 12 or 13 being like, yeah, of course. Yeah,
of course he's going to be a writer.
Yeah. I get it, Dad. All that stuffy shit, that's for you, not for me. Otherwise, why do we get rich? Why would you?
Gonna bone every girl I've ever met, and be a writer, and that's it. That's just how it's gonna go. That's how this summer's gonna go.
So, just to carry on, we see the boys immediately go to the first party they throw that night, and it just goes tits up. Everybody's just like, okay, all they did was fucking get drunk, puke, and the only person who got laid was Saba in.
They said he experimented with group sex, and I thought that was a very funny little.
Here's the thing, like I don't know, I've grown up in California, so Robbie did too. You guys are in Texas. There's a lot of Spanish speaking is not foreign to us at all. There's so much of this movie where I'm like, didn't even need the subtitles.
No, that was something I noticed too as I was watching, where they're talking to each other, and I think because they're teenage boys and teenage boys all kind of talk the same.
Yes.
I went, oh, I understood that perfectly.
Yeah, I was like, oh, these guys talk to each other like the Mexicans in my school talk to me. Crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is also where I came up with the name for my next SoundCloud project is El Sexo Colectivo. Which sounds way better than group sex. Group sex there's sometimes the English language just does not do concepts justice. That sounds way better in Spanish. It's
absolutely. It sounds way better in Spanish. It sounds cool as hell.
Collaborative idea here, guys. Collaborative sex.
We're changing the name of this podcast to Sexo Colectivo. Nothing about it is different.
This rocks.
I'm in.
So the boys immediately realize that they're fucking losers. And if it wasn't for the fact that one of them had a rich politician dad, so they hang out at the country club because for reasons I already forgot. The country club is mostly empty, so like they have their free reign of the pool.
They can just kind of do anything they want to do.
Yes, and we immediately see, aside from now the fact that we have the narrator explaining who they are, their dynamics, we're treated to a little bit of a visual metaphor where they are attempting to race in the swimming pool, but booty ass naked. And the fact that everything is they're the best friends in the world. They're very close. And we see before they get in the water, they each have matching tattoos of the lightning bolt over their right shoulder. So without having to even address it, it's trusting you. It's trusting you as the audience to just read that, like, these guys aren't just like besties, they're straight up brothers, they're best friends in the world, and their girlfriends are also each other's best friends. Like they're gifted with this amazing situation in life. And not only that, like it's a perpetual like privilege being thrust upon them. So now Grandual Julio is of a lower class. Each family has dealt with some kind of tragedy. They spend their summers getting to hang out at a country club to themselves. It's this whole cut out piece of land that nobody else
is the
enjoy.
dream. If you're like a 17, 18-year-old boy, like that is the dream.
The dream would be if that country club is filled with babes, but it's not. They literally just still have each other.
Yeah.
They're the only ones you have the one who's actually entitled to the privilege, quote unquote, and the other one taking advantage of the fact that at least his best friend comes from this privileged background. And all they're doing is, and I think is evidenced by the fact that they're swimming naked, everything is dick wagging. It's constant, perpetual machismo, dick wagging with each other. And we see that Tanech beats Julio, and he's almost giving him strategy to be like, you wasted too much energy at this point.
Early,
yeah. And then, I mean, like, I can't remember if this is before or after the wedding, but the diving board.
I think that's before the wedding, because I think right after that is when they go to the wedding.
So let's just jump into the diving board, because I'm always curious with this. I remember
what of them both?
Robbie, our mutual friend, Harrison, he's like the only person I knew who had seen this. So I was like, yeah. But there's like parts where I'm like, what the fuck? And again, this is his perfect like 13-year-old brain can interpret it. But I'm like, what the fuck is going on with that diving board? And he's like, they're brothers. and I didn't grow up with a brother, and he didn't either. But I think there is you grew up around people who are that insight of like there's closeness, and then there's closeness on a level you've never even like seen or comprehended.
Right.
And
I'm gonna step in here. I do have a brother. That is not a thing for. I'm gonna go out on a limb for some amount of brothers out there just to make sure there's no brother slander happening here. We were not doing that. That was.
Hunter, I thought we were brothers.
I mean, we knew that. That's different. That's a totally
Because we're
different thing.
brothers.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I told you. But
Okay, so I just said the diving board scene, but fuck it. So homeboys are like they're so hard up for Pusaladich
Yeah.
that they are just whacking it, and they're literally not only that, like describing girls they mutually know to each other to motivate.
Also,
the
still trying to
upset.
gross each other out, which I really appreciate.
I think it's a mix of gross out and a mix of like. Do you remember how fat her tits were? Like it's vulgar, yes, to say the least.
Yes, it is vulgar. We said Unleashed was the most vulgar movie we've done so far. I'd say this is almost more vulgar, but only because it's so realistic of what teenage boys are actually like.
Yeah, it's not vulgar in the sense of violence. It's vulgar in the sense of like just being horned the fuck out, and your only source of affection is just gotten on a plane 5,000 miles away. It's so far away from you, and even if you're cute boys, it's still a struggle. Which I want everybody else to take note of in this movie too. Even if you're a couple of cute boys, it's always a struggle. It's always a goddamn struggle.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not easy.
It's always tough. It's always tough being cute.
It's honestly tougher being cute, you know?
Yeah. The struggle's real.
So okay, just I know you boys both had your first viewings of this. That's something I kind of want to reflect on, being almost like a nostalgia based podcast. Did that shit, like, for me? I was just like, what? Because it's just something I'd not really been. Yeah,
for me, it like, I don't know. I to me, I guess when it being from another country, I think I was able to separate myself from that and go like.
You thought it was just like a Mexican thing?
Well, it's it's like when you watch old French films. It's like when you watch old French films and they're so open with sex. They're so open with sex and intimacy, where America is really not. And so, to me, in my head, I just kind of thought of the idea of like they're just much more open to sex and sexual exploration and stuff like that within those areas, whereas just America isn't ready for that. Essentially, that's kind of how I thought.
Not Protestant, yeah,
exactly.
That's very mature of you. For me, I was still using the word "gay" as an insult.
I mean, I was too. I'm not going to lie.
And this movie
really,
absolutely loves to do that
I was
shit.
just like, you. I just said you.
This movie, again, as a product of its time, and before we start getting into the wedding and the setting up for the road trip, like I could see why you said you guys were watching it. You're like, this is going to contain smoking and also like language that is not acceptable at this time. So much of this is like the F slurs towards each other, and it's like I think it's capturing straight up. Or I'm like, I don't know how to. I'd almost, this is like a perfect time capsule movie, because coming out in 2001, and be it in Mexico or whatever, like the fact that a cell phone does not show up almost ever and the internet is not referenced almost at all. From even like I straight up think this is maybe the last film they made before that permeated some sense of any kind of contemporary movie being made, and it really shows. And I think this movie is like a perfect like passing of the baton from the 90s into the next century, at the turn of the century, if you will.
Sorry, man, you blew my mind.
Oh, it's okay. Let's just start it at the top of the wedding. So even though we got it out of order, because the jerk off scene is after the wedding, I think the wedding stands as like a set piece in a movie with no action beats. We get to the wedding, and the wedding is not just any normal wedding. It's Tenoch's older sister, but in attendance, now that his father has a position in the world of politics, is attended by the president of Mexico, who I don't think we ever get like a clear shot on him.
No, we never even get to see him.
Yeah, I don't know how much you guys are aware of like Mexico's political history. Myself neither. I had to do some research for this movie. I don't know if it's supposed to be a Vicente Fox stand-in.
Oh,
because
sure.
after I mean, like a truly like long time, there was one political party in Mexico that had its hands in everything for like a good 60 years. This I think this movie is also coming out at a perfect time to voice that and voice a certain commentary on that without actually ever outright addressing it. And I think that's really well done through the vector of these.
I think
two
that's
teenage
real
boys.
done. I think this also really it sets up well kind of the level of privilege that Tenoch has.
Yes.
One of my favorite lines in the movie is when he goes up to the bartender and he's getting the beer and he just goes, "What a bunch of assholes!" And the bartender just goes, "Whatever you say, sir," and gives him the beer. I was like, that's such a great like encapsulation of what the level of privilege we're dealing with.
Yeah, and also like I see that like the president has to be a Vicente Fox stand-in because like the amount of Secret Service that is like in his equal attendance as the guests.
Yeah,
they're
counting
almost more than the guests.
Yeah, because there's that great scene where they start bringing the catering out to the guys. Like their Secret Service, you see them in every scene at this bullfighting match where the wedding takes place, or I think it's the reception. You don't actually see the real wedding,
Yeah.
But where the reception takes place, and they just start bringing them out like plate by plate to all the guys just sitting out in Ray-Ban aviators and suits with like motorcycles and ATVs and limos.
Yeah.
And it's such a good scene. It's such a good like
It's almost like
visual metaphor.
It's like the least like sentimental wedding of all time. It all feels very political. You know,
it's more for show and like not even about the bride or groom at all.
Yeah, you don't see any love in the air. You don't. It's like straight up. Hey, well, have you talked to the president yet? Have you talked to this person yet? You know, it's that kind of thing.
And I don't
know
how much you guys.
Speech, he's like. He only talks about the president. He's like, "We're so happy the president could be here. The president's like giving the sign off on our beautiful daughter's wedding. Thank you, President." What are we doing?
Yeah, it's crazy how nothing's ever changed.
Right.
So I don't know, like, so I grew up with half my side of the family out in California being Persian community. I'm not saying that anybody held office or anything like that, but there was definitely this era of like there's all these people coming out of your ears and like, well, this person's actually technically your cousin. This person is like married to them in some way. It's this. We watched Tenoch be kind of held to this standard, and he's reintroduced to his cousin who he hasn't seen in a good amount of years, Jano, who immediately goes into ball breaking mode. And I don't know if you guys have had this experience with like say like older cousins who are like they remember when you were a kid, and he makes the erroneous line is like, oh, I remember when you were just like, oh my god, you've gotten so tall, and I remember when you were little and you were crying over a Ninja Turtle, and he corrects him and says it's Thundercats. And the fact that like the
great
older
little moment of like power move, you know, just like a straight little power move,
and he's the only one wearing a white suit too. And just this little bit like I wanna look you like roast you because in my eyes you're still a little kid, and Tenoch is now like on the cusp of adulthood, and he's bullshitting him, and he almost cues Julio to come and tie his shoes, and then immediately like bumps into him,
spills the wine
prank to knock the wine all over his
What a
white suit.
Something I like too about their conversation is how he kept trying to dissuade him from being a writer. How he kept trying to tell him, he's like, you don't have any life experience. Like, you're not anybody. Like, why are you trying to go into writing? You don't know anything. Like,
yeah, which I literally needed like maybe 10 more cousins to tell me that shit and not encourage that. Because upon watching a lot of these movies, I'm like, oh, I don't think I've ever had an original thought in my life. It's all been like, well, then definitely like in this mobster movie with action scenes from Chinese choreographers, somebody should fuck somebody's girlfriend for sure.
One small thing that from that conversation I thought was interesting because he's like the Ninja Turtle thing. They collect him the Thundercats, and they do eventually meet
Luisa.
Sorry, just got a break part. She actually immediately remembers that it was Thundercats, not Turtles.
Yeah,
she just identifies it immediately.
It's a great little piece of writing to just like it shows that she was paying attention, that she's
empathetic, she's paying attention, she's not like him.
Yeah, and so yeah, let's just jump to it. The meeting with Luisa. Now, here's the thing about Cuarón, which he became certainly famous for, especially once he started getting British
Hollywood.
and American productions
Right.
as a result of this movie and how well it's done. Is he's so good at the oneer that you forget it's even happening, like
Absolutely.
most of the time.
Yeah, you don't even register that they're doing just a big one shot at all. You're
Yeah,
it's just
and
you are
it
sucked
almost
into the movie.
and it almost brings me into this sort of like Robbie, like Mike Lee as a director, and like as far as work for an actor, like this is such a treasure trove of. I have no idea how many times they had to rehearse this scene, but the fact that like this is such a good movie to read subtitled to ever like just test how quickly you can read. Everybody speaks with this frequency, the speed that is so like you're locked into this conversation.
Yes.
Everybody is 100% calibrated and blocked to this like level where like it's so immersive that like when you watch Children of Men, which we're going to do an episode on later, you're definitely locked in on the wonders because it's a spectacle. I almost feel like this is a greater spectacle because it makes you forget that it's even happening at all. Like you're so
it feels
living in the moment.
It feels very real and it feels very authentic in a way that a lot of movies don't get that feeling. Where when they're talking, again, you forget that you're part of a movie and it feels like you're watching a real conversation take place. And that's so rare in movies, even good movies. For them to really forget that and to really blend that to where you feel like, oh, these are just real people talking about a real thing. That's really hard to do.
They truly make you forget that there's cues and that much like this podcast, everybody steps over each other. But I think that lends a bit of realism to it, especially with the way like these two boys are like good and lightly buzzed. And they're literally like, my cousin's kind of a dipshit, but like his wife is, like she's.
That's something I really liked is the very first, even before they do anything, they walk over and they see her standing there and they go, "Oh, she's hot. Let's go talk to her." It's like before they even register who this person is, where she belongs, where she's from. It's just, oh, well, she's hot. Let's go talk to her.
They're still full blown in horn dog.
Yeah.
Like we need to get puss this summer while we're free to do it. So instantly, and a big reason I picked this movie is like, as much as it's been fun talking about the other ones where I was like, we've mentioned it before, like there's no women in any of these movies. Or if
there is a woman, there's one woman and they represent everything wrong with women.
Yes. Or they're straight up a prop. Or it's straight up something out of Luc Besson's mind, which I think is worse.
But very worse, much worse.
But the fact that like it's so funny how they so humbly introduce Louisa to this plot, and she really is the catalyst for everything going forward. And it's done so modestly. She's constantly kept to the left of the screen. She's almost like she's this very like sentimental person towards them, like Hunter pointed out. You mentioned she remembered that it was like, oh, you wanted a Thundercat toy, like, so they have an instant familiarity. Like it's setting so much, she's doing so much with so like how little they're like using her, and then it almost like kind of like puts you under this spell where you don't realize how big she's going to become in terms of setting all
great
this forward.
line. A great line too in the movies when they're introducing her, when they're telling her, hey, you should come with us on this road trip, this place called Heaven's Mouth, whatever, and they can't remember it, whatever, but they go,
they're making it on the spot. They're literally full of shit. They're so
they've never been there once in their life. They've heard about it from their drug dealer friend, so, but when they go, we'll bring the 40s, and she just very simply goes, what's a 40? And I just think that's such a good piece of character writing.
Yes, like I don't know if everyone's age is supposed to match when she's supposed to be roughly 30 and they're 18. So it's this an adult hanging out with two dipshits, and they're just trying so hard to impress her, and she's pretty pure of heart in this way where it's she knows their kid in much way like where you watch like a preschool teacher talk to their kids, where it's they know how to talk to kids, but there is still this like divide. Like they are not on the same page at all.
No,
but it's still this very like affectionate, and she doesn't like shoot them down at all. And I think that goes to show like what really kicks all of this into place is that nobody takes them serious. Their families don't. Nobody does. I don't even think she does. I don't think Louisa does. But
she sees them as a novelty for sure.
Yeah, but she also has this empathy of like, well, don't discount them. Like they're
they're young kids.
Yeah, and they have such an affection for each other, and they're also like just not impressed by all this bullshit, which I don't think she is either, because her character is from Spain. She's not
Mexican. Yeah.
her Spanish is not even Mexican dialect. She's speaking, kind of like a mix of she has a Spanish accent, and as we see later with a phone conversation with her husband, she even says like she correctly is like Barcelona. She puts in Spain Spanish inflection on it, and it's a little hard to pick up on that, especially if it's not your first language or you have no exposure to it whatsoever.
And that kind of sets the stage also for part that becomes a road movie. She's discovering the country for the first time. It's kind of easy to forget that she's not from there because she's speaking the same language, but she kind of like falls in love with Mexico as you go along, and kind of emphasizes that part of it.
Yeah. The thing I enjoyed too is that I liked that a lot of the stuff in Mexico, I liked that they didn't just showcase the poor side of Mexico. I liked them going to just the grocery store, them going to these just places where you don't, in the media at least, you don't really ever get to see these pieces.
There's no sepia filter.
Right, exactly.
It looks like a real place. It's shot very documentary cinema verite style. And to Cuarón's credit, like I think he's such a wonderful director, because this is shot on a budget of $5 million. Whatever, translate that however, because it's a Mexican production. But the fact that like even with growing productions, like he shoots a $5 million in movie the way you shoot a $5 million movie. He shoots a $60 million movie the way you would shoot a $60 million movie. He's so versatile in knowing what he has that he really tries to he wrings the blood from the rock and gets every bit of juice out of the orange to really like show you, like really like get a point across. And just for the sake of moving on with the plot, we see that like they go their separate ways. Julio and Tenoch are still being fuckheads, just getting high every minute they can. She is at a doctor's office, and I was like, I'll just go ahead and say it. Like the twist, I did not see coming when I was a 13-year-old. I remembered it, and then now watching it this time, I see how much setup is going into it that I feel like a fucking idiot for not picking up on it.
Yeah. As a kid, did not see it coming, but as an adult,
that scene also
absolutely easy to see.
That scene also kind of is the main thesis of her character in general. It sets up her entire character of her taking the quiz, and the quiz determines she's not a fulfilled person, and she disagrees.
And I think this is what separates her from, and I know we talked about in one of the last episodes how Carrie Condon is this like almost mythical level manic pixie girl, which the trope itself was not only like popularized but like became so standardized in the 2000s. The fact that like there's not a moment wasted, like making you realize that she's while her dilemma is that she's not a fully realized person, she is a fully realized character in that she's waiting at the doctor's office. We see them set away, and we let the narrator take over, and she literally just does a little personality quiz in a magazine, because again, this is pre cell phones, pre internet. So this is how she's like fucking off for their time, is they leave you magazines in the waiting room, and she takes one, and the quiz is something. It's not vapid. It's almost like existential. What it's asking, or what it's setting up to explain is the narrator explains like what the questions are and the answers that she gives, and then as she's going into the office where the door is closed, which is I think very visually important for why I didn't pick up on it as a dumb fucking idiot asshole teenager, is that like that's where the actual shit is going down. But the narrator is revealing the answers to her test, which are all things where like, and she's answering honestly, like yeah, I am this kind of person, and they're circumstantial. We know that she was orphaned and raised by an aunt, she then had to take care of herself. It's this like mix of where was the opportunity, and like she's married now to a political figure, he's not a political figure. He's like a writer, like a composer. He's like a musical.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah,
composer. Yeah, like she happened into some sort of life of privilege, but she denied herself all of these experiences due to her history. You're going to find out as you watch the movie. I just think it's so wonderfully done, and that it's very subtle. Like you're locked into whatever the narrator is going on about, but it's that something has happened in this doctor's office, and in conjunction with that personality test, it has forever altered her brain chemistry, and then leading to, I don't know if one of you wanted to take over this next part. I'm very curious about how you guys felt about this phone call she gets while her husband is in Europe doing his.
Him calling her and admitting.
Yeah, so
Yes.
they get the call, or she gets the call late at night, and he's just bawling and saying how bad. You can always tell it's kind of like when a character's going to be manipulative if they start off like, "I'm such a bad person, I did this
I'm a
bad
piece
thing,"
of shit.
and they're not telling you what
they
they did. They're just like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
I'm the worst. I'm so bad. I'm so drunk right now. It's crazy. I could say anything. Like maybe I don't know. I cheated on you." And that sucks.
Yeah.
But
I love her
her
response to it is so great, of where she just goes, "Why are you telling me this?"
Yes.
I think
And
that's such a great response.
truly the only adult character in the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
I mean, like he's unaware of whatever just happened
What
to the
she's
doctor's
going through,
office.
yeah.
And the fact that I don't know how much experience you guys have with infidelity, but as someone who's been on every side of it, and also like just I don't know, like you observe it in media, you look into it,
Yeah, right.
You think about it. It's so funny how often, and here's like the trope, and here's where Jono, her husband, is caught up in it, is that you think that we really are caught up culturally, whether it's American or Mexican, or I'm sure however many other countries are like, the truth shall set you free.
Oh, yeah.
He's for whatever reason, whether it's he's drunk or what have you, he's hoping to absolve himself through honesty and be absolved through her by being like, if I just tell you the absolute truth, you'll see that there's sincerity in it, because it's only ever really bad if I'm being dishonest. Not
if I call myself an asshole, then you'll understand that I am one, and that
I
that'll
feel
be
bad
fine
for my
now.
yeah.
You obviously see that I feel bad, so now you should forgive me. And it's revealed later, like, not to skip ahead, but
it only goes to show that he's just as immature as the dumb teenage boys she was just talking to at the wedding.
And
that's why he wanted to bullshit to them, because he's trying to. There's almost that level of insecurity with him as well, where he's trying to one up these dumb teenage boys, and it's like, well, why do you have to? You know?
Yes. It's and the way she handles it, and say like, this is my tell that I should like lock into her with a mention that, you know, she's from Spain, because she was like said something about like in Barcelona with the correct way you're supposed to pronounce that in Spanish, you know. That I was like that. Oh, and she's like, as much as I feel like she's grown to like Mexico, like she's here under the auspices of that, like, I'm going to go to this other country and let this other person kind of take point on our lives. And she's a dental hygienist. She has just a regular ass adult
job,
fucking life. Yeah. Which,
very
you know,
modest
like,
job, and she wants to be a very modest person, and she wants, you know, like, you're right. Yeah, I think it's not even that she married this person because, oh, he's got status and he's got all this stuff. It's just like, to me, it felt like she just was doing all the things that she felt was right, that you're supposed to do as an adult.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he can't even hold up his end of the bargain.
You're right. Exactly. That's why she goes, why are you telling me this? Why would you blow this whole thing up? We had, you know, like, there's one deal we're supposed to have.
I'm aware that you cheated on me. This is apparently not like a single thing that he's done necessarily, but she's obviously looked past a lot of it.
She's not dumb. She's also, again, like, I think the only grown up in the entire fucking movie. Because even like contrasted against Tenoch's mother, who's, you know, like whatever her esoteric thing is, like it's played off straight up for laughs. It's played up straight up for like, she's this kooky upper class woman who doesn't have to deal with any of this shit, so she indulges in her fantasies about how she understands reality. Versus this woman who's like had a rough upbringing and is going through the midst of having not only a rough marriage but a tough life thing about to happen to her. You know, like it's the only adult person who's handling things in an adult way the whole fucking movie. Yeah, so Louisa now has decided that her life cannot go back to normal after having one of the worst days I think you can possibly have, and boy, does life love giving it to you all at once. She calls up Tenoch, who's in the middle of this will come up later, receiving a sandwich from his maid, who it's just the way he likes it. You know,
he's high. He is enjoying a sandwich. He is
living.
But he gets a call from Louisa that absolutely calls him on his bullshit, and There's no greater motivator for a young teenage boy than to be called on your bullshit and then suddenly have to manifest it as something fucking real.
We have to do this.
Wait, a hot babe just told me I was full of shit, and now we gotta do it. Oh no!
But no, like fuck, like it's the universe that comes crashing in on him of like, yeah, put your fucking money where your mouth is.
Right.
He immediately.
You told me about this place that's supposed to be paradise on Earth. Show me paradise.
Show me paradise. He immediately gets off the phone with her and calls up Julio, who we now get to see a good part of his daily life, where it's just him and his sister, and they share a car between them, and he's saying like, "Hey, do you remember that really hot girl? She wants to go on a road trip. Me, you, road trip, hot girl. We gotta fuck her."
This scene really is what made me start thinking of the Jean-Luc Godard movie Weekend, because I think it's such a funny piece of satire for them, because they both go, "Oh well, we don't have our cars. We don't have our normal cars. My dad took away the car because I won't do economics. You know, I don't have my car, but my sister has a car." So they go to his sister is a revolutionary at a protest, and they're literally using that car to deliver food to like the needy. And he is going to the protest, ignoring everything around him, so that he can borrow his sister's car, so that they can maybe fuck his friend's cousin's wife.
It's perfectly like the deal that he cuts her, because Tenoch can't get his car because he's like, no, I'm going to be a writer, not take economics. Which is like, it's such a funny thing where you're like, you could bullshit your dad then for a little bit longer just to get the car.
I know, yeah.
He puts the pin on his knowingly lower class friend, who is like, it's not my week for the car though. Like we can't take it. Because they trade off, because they have to share it, because they're living just like in an apartment together, kind of getting by. And this perfect shot of her at a protest, at a demonstration for a socialist cause. Everyone's dressed up the right way, and he's like, "Yeah, I cut her a deal. I get the car for 5 days. She gets it for 3 weeks. Now this is gonna fuck up our whole rest of our summer, but like, he's like, also we have to help her. Like, she wants to use the car to donate food and supplies to Chiapas."
And so we're at the protest now.
Yeah, so they need this car. Amidst Tenoch's privilege, he didn't take economics like his daddy told him to. He's decided to be a writer, so he can't have the car anymore because he's on restriction. So now it's on Julio, his lower class friend, who has to share this car with his sister, who is the only person he lives with. They show up to a protest, and it is definitely like, when I say left, I mean actually left. Protest.
Yeah.
And they meet up with Julio's sister, and they cut a deal. And the deal is that they get the car for 5 days, but that means she gets it for 3 weeks, and she needs the car for 3 weeks, so she can use it to do charity runs for food and supplies for Chiapas, which I think is such a perfect touch.
It's so good. And again, I really want to emphasize the idea of these two boys going to the protest and avoiding the protest in general, so they can borrow the car, so that they can maybe fuck Tenoch's cousin's wife, is very funny.
unaware that their marriage is on the rocks, just so you know. Like they just think
maybe.
Yeah. Maybe there's a little pussy for me, maybe for you. Maybe also, I really don't think they care if the other one gets laid at all. It's all about who gets there, much like the swimming pool, who gets there first.
Competition, yeah.
So,
who's going to win?
Locks off.
So this Robbie brought it up earlier, but this grocery store scene is so fucking cute to me, because it's really we're doing it, man. We're really fucking doing it. It's so good.
Well, them because they're running with the cart, causing a little trouble in the grocery store, and I love that there's the other people in there just kind of looking at them like, what the fuck are these guys' problem?
Like truly the errant joy of just being a dipshit teenager. We're like, you're so young, you'll never die. It's so nice.
You don't care who's around you. You don't care what the circumstances of the world are. You're just happy to be young and dumb.
They are, I mean, truly the main characters of this movie, but also the main characters of the world they live in.
Yeah.
So we watch Luisa pick up. She starts doing her last exit on the way out the apartment. Everything from setting the keys out to, she leaves the window open, but it's like she's leaving it all behind, and blissfully unaware of it. And this is one of those like subtle wonders where I'm like, I have no idea how they got her down 3 stories in time for the cameraman to go from her pacing around the apartment to out the window, and we see her join the boys in the car as they start their road trip on their way to the
kind of
mythical Heaven's Mouth.
This is the kind of wonder that like I miss from Cuarón himself. Like you mentioned it before with the wonders, they've become kind of. I feel like ever since around the time when Birdman came out, they've become a bit of a stunt thing. I guess even from like
it's like a trick
shows,
almost.
Yeah, I remember when the Daredevil Netflix show came out. Back to Daredevil, can't escape.
And they did the old boy,
and they did the old
Yeah.
boy oneer, and that was just such a big deal. And then, I mean, we obviously had 1917, which was just like the entire premise was what if the entire movie was a oneer. It's just became this stunt thing, and this really took me back to where it was the actual.
Before we carry on with the plot real quick, like, what is your guys' policy on that though? Because for me, I'm like, if you're gonna do it, fucking do it. But like, show me something. It doesn't have to be the best. It doesn't have to be the most unique. But like, do it. So like, 1917, I have almost a disdain for that movie because it's not a oneer. There's straight up 4 points in that movie where I'm like, that's a great point to cut. But also like, it's cheating constantly.
I enjoy that movie.
Yes, I think if you're going to do it, you better do it for real. And if you are going to have little cuts in there, you better hide those cuts well. Because, again, not to keep bringing up the movie, but Weekend, there's a famous scene where there's them driving through a car wreck that goes for about 8 minutes. And I think there's a couple small moments where they hide cuts, but like you can't tell. And it doesn't feel like it's done. It feels like it's making a point. And I feel like if you're to do a good oneer, it has to kind of feel like it's making a point. Otherwise, it is just showing off for no real reason.
Yeah. What about you, Hunter? What is it? How do you feel about him? You were kind of expressing this like almost like exhaustion from it or fatigue. Where
exactly,
it's
I think it just became kind of a. I think it was a lot because of Cuarón. He popularized
he did it so fucking well. He did it in Harry Potter
so
too.
Well. Exactly, he did it so well that it became trendy, so to speak. And I don't hate 1917 or anything like that. I just like Robbie said, is the shot there for? Is there a reason for this to be a oneer? Is there like is this an actual? Is it saying something? Do we have cause for it, or is it just there to say in a press release, "Hey, we did it. This one has a crazy."
so that people on the movie forums can go, "Oh, did you know this is a one-shot take?" And it's like, I don't care.
Yeah. Like I think 1917 would have been better served if it was just the two scenes, and that's the intro with the Andrew Scott, giving them the lecture, and then that beach scene, and it didn't need to be there for literally the rest of the movie.
Right.
Straight up, like, yeah.
No,
my personal policy is like, again, I think it's servable when it's done well, and when it's done well, like it's either Children of Men does it well because when they do it, you're like, oh shit, like all the action set pieces are in that because it really is trying to ground you in the panic of how fucking terrifying that shit actually is, and it works. And the last one being the actual like mic dropper, where he's escorting a woman who's just given birth and a child through a war zone is like, yeah, let's fucking go for it, man. Birdman, which I did day play on, by the way. I was there on set days where they're like, we're filling in the parts that are gonna actually like connect, and it's like, okay, it didn't take anything out of it. I think that movie being the fact that it's all about a play works, where they're like, well, let's present it as a play where everything
there's a purpose there. It's not just trying to show off.
And this is why I think Cuarón is
that was a popular one. I don't hate Birdman or anything like that. I just think that was it felt like an inflection point, that and the fight scenes and stuff like that from the TV series. Like I feel like those were inflection points in popular culture. Like that's when it became more the layman would talk about a oneer.
The hallway fight scene from Old Boy is starting to become the bike slide from Akira.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where it's that thing where directors go, see, look, I know cool stuff. And it's like, yeah, man.
Yeah, but you come up with it, and then also like drop it as
a
stylistic choice in like Old Boy does not have that for the rest of the movie. It's only in that one scene to show you.
It's just that one scene,
and
yeah.
It's so like cool.
It's not cool. It actually sucks. Like,
he also gets his ass beat the entire time.
Yeah. It's when it actually throws in the situation where you have to be a fucking badass. It's like, no, it's not like It's a miserable experience, and he nearly dies straight up 15 seconds later.
When I say cool, I mean in terms of the movie, it's cool. Like, not for him, but that's kind of the take on it when Daredevil ripped it. Essentially, like Robbie said, the Akira bike slide of scenes. They literally just invert. It's like, oh, but what if he got beat up, but also he beat everyone up even worse? So that's when it became again pop culture. Like, it was popular from Old Boy, obviously, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't say a coworker would necessarily know what I was referencing when I say the fight scene from Old Boy. But when that Daredevil show came out, every outlet was talking about that fight scene. They just wouldn't stop. And when Birdman came out, suddenly it was like, wow, an entire movie shot with a oneer. So,
again, if you guys don't want to watch one that's actually a oneer, like actually a oneer, it's a German film called Victoria from 2016, and this is my rec of the week. By the way, everybody watch that if you get a chance, because that is a actual oneer. They shot it in 4 takes. The third take is the movie, and it's done very impressive. You get it.
Check that out.
It's used to full effect, and it's no bullshit. Actually, a oneer, start to finish. The cameraman is credited top billing with the rest of the actors, so it's like, okay, like that's they really go for it. So to go back to the movie, the road trip starts. Like they're on their way, and the second they get out of Mexico City, which I feel like we should have dropped earlier, is that this is essentially started all, like, the entire first act is entirely in Mexico City. They are just leaving it. They're out in the sticks immediately. And we start kind of seeing what this movie, I think, really has a much more profound effect on me now that I'm not the age of the dumb boys who it's about. It's the fact that we really get to see Mexico painted in full picture. It's a road trip movie where we kind of see what the actual average person's life is like out there. And
something I wrote down, I took note of, and something I really appreciate throughout as they're driving, they keep, every time they come to an obstacle in the road trip, it's a life event. It's a quinceanera. It's a funeral. It's a protest. It's farmers doing, and every time they come to that, they just swerve around it very easily.
It is perpetually in the background of even the screen of the windows in the car.
Yeah. It's them just very easily just going around these real things that are happening in their life, in the life around them, but they're not paying attention to it because all they're caring about is maybe fucking this girl. So it's
potential sex. Yeah, you pass the grave markers, and they talk about if they had passed 10 years earlier, they would have seen a car wreck there, or they do interact. I like that they interact with the paying the tithe at the quinceanera. Yes. You have to check out the queen, but they only do seemingly they only interact with it because of their passenger. She reaches out, and
Luisa purposely goes, the queen is beautiful and wants to pay that. They have a one-track mind, and she is kind of trying to take in the entire realm around her.
And not just one-track mind in the sense of wanting
she's taking everything in top to bottom,
Yes.
They see this stuff all the time. Like, even if they're not doing road trips like this all the time.
I don't even think they do necessarily.
I don't think they do either. Yeah, I agree. I think that's what the movie's kind of saying, is by them so easily going around these things that they don't see this stuff. They don't see the real world necessarily.
I can see that. I'm thinking more in terms of not necessarily the people, but Mexico itself, I guess. She's enthralled with the country. She's becoming more intrigued by not just the people, but the places. And I think they're kind of more used to the places. Yes, you're right. They do not see the poor people. They're not seeing the death or even the crime. You see a lot of the kind of the cops. They kind of imply it's more corrupt. They're getting caught with drugs or people crossing the border, things like that.
Yeah, and they're on this road trip holding like a shit ton of fucking weed they got from Saba, who gave them shitty directions, and he's trying to tell them. And there's these little moments, and it's so wordless. Or even if they're speaking, they're not speaking about what you're actually watching. And while they're holding, like, yeah, they do have a attractive female. She kind of brings, and they're also driving a shitty car. She brings their profile way down just by her presence of being there. They're like, these boys are too young. They can't be really like up to any good. They can't be up to no good because like they have this they have an adult with them, and like they're too young to be in the shit of like what the real world's about. And we see moments like where the police cruiser is behind them with the lights on, and the guys are like literally sitting in the back of the truck bed with the guns ready to go, and they just stop, seemingly like not even like a violent criminal, but they come out guns ready at the ready.
Yeah, ready to take these guys down for whatever reason.
And the boys are oblivious to the fact that like they could be easily in that much trouble, or they could be.
Yeah, they didn't even seem to care. They were just like, we're just driving.
Oblivious, and I mean, like, while I had this reading, I did find a Slavoj Žižek video.
Oh yeah,
with his analysis, and it's like it's one of those moments where I'm like, I'm not that dumb then. Good, I think I picked up on it. Didn't get it when I was 13. Do get it now that I'm 100. And, the fact that like these boys are almost emblematic of Mexico itself, in that they're also in their adolescence. Like, Mexico is not very much different in age from America. And what a country that's been around for 250 years, like that's nothing. There's a drop in the pan compared to like all these other cultures and
European
countries,
nations,
and because they're in this adolescence, they're also so powerless to stop all the, whether you want to call it like corruption or the disparities and stuff. Like, yeah, they're enjoying the privileges of those set before them. They're oblivious to it, so all the thing they can focus on is abject pleasure and hedonism, which is every scene with them. They are constantly blasting cigs, drinking alcohol, trying to get laid, because that's the only thing. Like, that's the only thing they can focus on. Because if you focus on literally anything else, it is like you might be galvanized, you might be motivated to do anything else. So it's like the scene that and I'm sorry to hijack so long, but like the scene that like really like it was like like hit me the hardest was Tenoch's in the backseat. And he notices a sign and then sees that they're coming upon a village. And it's the village that his maid, the same one who brought him the sandwich just the way he likes it, it's the village she's from. And granted, she left there like in early childhood. Like, she's like, yeah, she was born there, left at like, say, 8 years old or whatever, before coming to Mexico City to seek another opportunity. Like, and they're driving past it, and he doesn't ask them to stop. He takes it in for just that like 30 seconds.
Right.
But the narrator really takes full force over here and being like explaining all this to you, and ends it with like the best line of like, he called her mom for the first 4 years of his life. And
oh yeah, that was rough.
They just drive past it. And there's so many moments where I feel like I see something profound that relates specifically just to me, and you can't explain it, and it's like you either try to, or you just sit back and take the moment in, and it's something it's just for you. It's just for you. And
this starts in the movie a little bit. They encounter a few things throughout the kind of from here on, where the narrator specifies, hey, this is something they can't explain to each other, and they don't even try to explain to each other. It's something they internalize, and they just don't say anything about it.
They don't even need to necessarily, because like Sauce is saying, it's just for them,
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to look up real quick the name of their little like friend group. I forgot it.
Oh, right. The Los
Chapro.
Oh, I can't remember now.
I was gonna write it down. I just didn't.
I thought I would remember it because they say it so often in the movie.
I swear it's like Chaprolatas or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's when they explain to her their manifesto.
Yeah.
Which fuck. Sorry, we'll have to kind of like edit around this.
It's fine. I'm gonna be fine. Me too.
Sorry, this one will be a little bit pain in the ass. I found a much more observant summary for it. Fuck. I'm sorry. It's gonna kill me because like if I don't. Oh, okay. Charo Lastra. Yeah. So jump back into it. Does anybody else want to take the lead on this one, or?
The
I
chocolate.
feel
go
like I
for
talked for like a minute there. So
No, go for it. You're fine.
okay. So along the road trip, and again another impressive one where you don't even realize it's happening. Luisa picks up on the fact that Julio and Tenoch call each other Charolastra, and it's just like, what the fuck is that nickname? And they say that it's a weird miscommunication of Spanish, but it sounds like Astral Cowboy, and it's the name of their friend group. Me and Robbie have experience of this too, where like people do come
Yes.
up with a name for their friend groups, and they run along with it. I won't go into detail about ours, but it was called the Tots. She's like okay, so you're little like boys club. She's like, what are the rules? And they go through their manifesto, and
Their
it's so funny
manifesto,
'cause
quote unquote manifesto.
I know, and it's just like basically 12 rules, which are all about like don't leave your homie behind, but also
Don't
never
fuck
fuck each other's
your
girlfriends.
friend's girlfriend. Yeah.
Team
Yeah,
America
yeah. Like,
sucks.
also though, but like bros before hoes still.
And
It's
you
so
can tell the
funny.
whole time she's listening to it, she's just like, she's rolling her eyes the whole time,
Yeah.
but you can tell she's also very entertained by it. Like,
Yeah, she loves
Yeah.
it. But her reactions very much like, oh, really? That's what you.
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
It's
Yeah,
still like
that's
it's just
great.
imbued with their personal fucking bullshit of like, America Football Club is the F slur, screw morality, never marry a virgin, and truth is never attainable. And it's like it's so funny how they've
I
entered
love
this
that
like
truth is
premature
never
enlightenment.
attainable is like one of the and amongst all this like oh don't screw your homie bros for hoes. Truth is never actually attainable.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
what?
so
What was that?
I'm gonna
What was that
say,
last one?
I think that's actually a very good thesis of the movie because it is these two guys they can never actually look at the truth in the eyes. They can never actually confront
Yeah.
truth. They only ever look away from the truth. And the one time they do actually confront the truth, they reject it.
It's
And
life ending. It's and their friendship is their life. It's life ending,
Yes.
But
Oh yeah.
so like they continue on. The car eats shit because I don't know if I'm skipping around, but I
No,
think this movie is
fine.
also.
I
just
think at this
enjoyed.
point it's a road trip movie. We're vibing.
Yeah. So the radiator. He warns him. He says like the radiator's fucked. And he's like, shut the fuck up. Who cares? Let's get the car. Let's go. The radiator finally eats shit, and luckily they crash out in this like very destitute town, and they're not in danger though. And I think that's where this movie aims to really put Mexico in this positive light of like, it's not about how much you have that lets you be a person who gives for others, but it's immediately demonstrated by the fact that the car breaks down. They immediately get assistance from the locals.
Yeah.
One of the older guys, like I essentially call him the town mayor, gives Julio his cowboy hat. He's like, so he tries to compliment him. He's trying to schmooze him. He's like, "Oh, I love your hat." And he goes, "Yeah, here, put it on." And he's like, "Looks better on you. You keep it." And
You have it. It's your hat now.
Yeah, it's your hat now. Yeah, and he's like, "No, en serio?" Like he's like, "Oh, you're like." They're so caught off guard by how actually pleasant people are, even if
Being
they have
cool.
nothing.
Yeah, just this guy just going, no, you can have the hat. Like, I don't care. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, they're not obsessed with the material possession. And then Luisa walks up to this shrine and sees a little doll that has the same name as her, and she talks to this like 90-year-old woman, this almost like shamanic old woman who I think is just an old woman. And
Probably
tells her
just a
about,
person who actually lives in that town.
yeah, and I think there's a bit of that going on in this too. But the fact that she tells him is like this lore dump story about the original owner of this little doll, this little plush animal. I think, is it a rabbit or is it a?
I think it was like a little rabbit, but it had its name. It had her name on it, and
Yeah, like tells her the whole story
She
about
says,
her
"That's
life.
my name too."
Yeah.
And the old lady just gives her the whole everything, the spiel about it. I
And
really like
it's-
that. Again, I it feels like these parts of the movie kind of was it was almost targeting the Italian neorealism a little bit, where it's
Okay.
getting into like I almost felt like it was going to these real places, and that what we were seeing were almost real villagers and maybe not even actors. I don't know how accurate that is, but I think that's just a testament to how real the movie felt.
It really attributes to
in that
the
sense.
verisimilitude,
Yeah.
You get it when they start going into like the little side, the restaurants, stuff like that, and it kind of takes the camera to the back where it's just a bunch of old ladies dancing
Yes.
around while they're doing all their normal tasks and stuff. It's really I love that. That stuff makes me just feel warm. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I also brought up how there's a lot of cuts in this movie that felt very Robert Altman esque in that I've always said Robert Altman. When you watch a Robert Altman movie, it feels like he leaves the camera on just a little bit too long. And I feel like that's what this movie does as well, where it lingers on something just a little bit longer than you're used to. And I think that allows you to kind of buy into the realism of the world and the actual authenticity of the world way easier, because you're almost seeing people stop acting and becoming a real person because the camera just is left on just a little bit longer.
There's a scene in the bar where they're, loading up the jukebox. Is prior to this, but like they're loading up the jukebox and having a conversation, and they're constantly trying to broach the conversation topic of sex and relationships and stuff like that. And the camera just leaves them and it goes to the back of the house. And you're expecting to see like the back of a restaurant, but like no, it's a kitchen like in anybody else's house, and like the daughter and the granddaughter and everyone, and the grandma is like dancing because she's smoking a stogie and also enjoying some tequila and beer. Like,
scenes. I love that. That was just great.
It's this little painted version of life that you really enjoy, where it's let's just sit and dwell in it and be like, no, there is no facade to pull down. These are people just leading their lives.
It's a lived-in world. It's a truly lived-in world.
So back at the hotel, well, the car's going to take a day to be repaired. Both boys are showering at the same time. This is also like after they've watched Luisa, like they try to spy on her to kind of be pervs, but she keeps breaking down
wanted
crying.
I wanted to bring up that scene specifically because I think again talking about how this movie is about these boys not being able to confront reality, and I think this scene is a perfect representation of that when they go, hey, check it out, she's in her hotel room, let's go check her out, and they go to spy on her and she's crying, and what do they do immediately? They just turn around, they turn their heads, and the next day they don't talk about it. They they can't. There's a certain level of intimacy and reality that they are just unable to comprehend. And I find that so interesting.
Too real, way too fast.
Yes, exactly.
I can't jerk it to crying. This is not what I'm into.
Yeah, and I mean, even she confronts it. She's like, "You little fucking perverts! You're trying to look through my window," and it's a broken window too. Like they're not staying in the best accommodations.
Yeah, it's a whatever place.
And like so, they start bonding, and then so we're back at the hotel where the car is broken down, and they're asking each other for shampoo because like they have nothing to clean themselves with. So Tenoch goes to Luisa's room to ask if she has shampoo with his towel on, and she's still losing it. Similar to that night, like we said, they're spying on her, crying, and in a moment of like just purely in the moment, pulls off Tenoch's towel and is like, let's just fucking go for it. Let's just fucking go for it. So they have sex, and
the most realistic sex scene I've ever seen in a movie.
I mean, especially if you're caught off guard, because even he's like, are you fucking serious? Like
yeah,
it's literally like what he came here for. So like when confronted with what he even came here for, he can't.
He can't even pull it off.
It's an incredible teenage boy scene because they talk so much game about like, oh man, we're so good with our girlfriends. They only want us. They're not going to sleep with any Italians. And she's like, take your towel off. He's like, hold on.
What if my dick doesn't get hard? Well, then I'll suck it. And it's like, oh shit, yeah, let's go. And then busts in 20 seconds.
Immediately. Just immediately.
My favorite part too is right after he busts. Luisa has this like look of like almost amusement on her face, almost like, I mean, of course he did. Like it's not even she's not mad. It's more of like he's a kid. Like of course he busts that quick.
You dumb idiot. Yeah. But also like, and look, in playing of like, I don't think it's insulting necessarily to women to like climax too quickly. She almost has a moment of like okay, I still fucking got it. Like she's almost rationalizing with the fact that her husband cheated on her. But in fact, she's like, I could fuck somebody younger who's like just absolutely like, so like he literally planned this road trip to fuck me. And if I fuck him, he'll not only like be so excited, like I'm so hot that he busts in.
Yeah, he just busts immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's in a fucking roundabout way. And again, I really attribute this to Maribel's acting qualities like that. There's a little bit of a truth in that, and it's like it's not an insult to her. Like she's like, no, you think I'm fucking hot? You're so hot, you literally couldn't even control your shit.
And again, that's why I said she's almost amused by it. It's like funny to her because she's just like, I mean, of course this is what happened.
Yeah, like yes, you're very cute, Diego Luna, still to this day, but it's like oh, okay, you know. So Julio walks in on this, and you do kind of feel that little bit like he's a little bit like standing out in the rain, like, oh man, like you were gonna wait for me.
I mean, this is their first like conflict. We don't know any like they're like you guys said, they're brothers. They're
It's
they're
the
as
first one they've
brothers
exposed each other
as you
to.
can be. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're not jerk off brothers like me and Hunter, but
No, they are jerk off brothers like me and you because they laid on the diving board.
oh, sorry, you and your brothers are not jerk off brothers like me and you. Sorry.
Yeah,
So
me and
Oh,
Sasha
yeah,
look
that's
at
it.
each other
There
in
you
the
go.
eyes while we do
Yes.
it usually.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, okay, I thought we were going to tell people that, but okay.
Hey, look, cards are on the table.
Yeah, I fucked your girlfriend.
Oh my god.
So we returned to the pool, and unlike the country club pool where they get the fuck off on, this one's like fucking polluted, and we instantly see the fucking guilt from Tenoch. He's like, "Oh shit, we're gonna do the racing thing because we're bros. We do everything together. We never keep any secrets at all because we love you." He immediately starts trying to clean the pool, but it doesn't matter. They jump in and they race, and I believe he lets Julio win, right? Like that's the
He comes up and he goes, hey, you let me win. Like,
yeah,
he sees it immediately.
In this moment of, I don't know, like I don't have a 1-to-1 for this, but it's so fucking relatable to where you're so disappointed about whatever hand you're being dealt in this arrangement, and literally it comes down to their competition. They love each other, but they're in endless competition with one another. He tells him, he's like, I fucked your girlfriend, by the way, and just to hurt him back. Well,
it's like the narrator points out like there's a disturbance. Like the piece, the equilibrium that was there, now the balance is upset, and there's something is off now.
Yeah, there's one of them has an up on the other, and now they have to get the one up since it's a competition. Yeah,
and he couldn't just let him have it either. He couldn't even just let him have the. Well, you got to her first. You know what I mean?
Luisa says when they first started arguing, he says it would have been the same either way. Whoever walked in, like I didn't care who it was.
She's not really culpable, but again, because she's a fucking adult, like, yeah, that holds fucking water, but not to them because they're both a bunch of dumb fucking kids.
Yeah,
dumb fucking teenagers. So, I mean, do you want to fast forward to like their hotel room? Because like I think this is another.
Yeah. Let's go there.
Well, I don't have a 1-to-1 moment. Like I've absolutely been in a situation where, and on both sides, where Tenoch can't let it go because it's not enough that he found out in this way, but he wants to know every detail.
Oh, it's brutal. It's really
so brutal. It's almost too real at times.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
This is where I think
100%
Gael, like,
situation.
This is where I think Gael steals the fucking scene. Is that like he's so pitiful in his like he attacked him, but he doesn't understand the consequences. And it's really both these boys' mortal fucking flaws. They don't understand the concept of consequences, and this entire trip will be about arriving at all of them. Is that the narrator says they stay up all night, and he asks them every like excruciating detail where it's like you fucked my girlfriend, but you don't remember what color her panties were that night. It's like, yeah, that part.
Like it? Oh god!
You not only did something awful to me, but like it wasn't even sentimental to you, which means that you're this monster. Again, it's the rationale of somebody who's so hurt.
Well, it's also a good juxtaposition with Luisa earlier when Jano was telling her about how he had sex with someone else, and she just goes, "Why are you telling me this?" Like it shows the difference between being an adult and being a kid here. You know,
and also like that immaturity of he is so hurt by him sleeping with his girlfriend when in the sense like they were immediately ready to cheat on their girlfriends. Like as soon as they touched the airplane, they were ready to go. Like they didn't give a single shit about their girlfriends, and now suddenly it's a humongous deal. That
now it's a betrayal.
Exactly.
Yeah,
now
you can't betray.
Homie did it. Homie did it. He broke the code. So now it's
the charlastra, you know.
And because then after that, that's when they're getting into the big fight, and Luisa is trying to, calm them down essentially. This whole thing, and she says what I think kind of is a great piece of the movie, where she goes, your manifesto is bullshit. Typical men fighting like dogs and marking your territory when all you really want to do is fuck each other.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like,
I love how defensive they immediately get, because no matter how mad they are at each other, she's like, "Oh, you guys fucking mad? You broke each other's like third rule," and they both in unison are like, "It was the fifth rule."
I got so pissed.
Which is the most
another aspect,
boy
sorry,
bullshit. Yeah,
doesn't even go with the flow, but the fact that she's caught both of them like just popping boners in the back, which
Oh yeah, she keeps pointing it out like, oh, I see, you got a little boner there.
Like, well, it's hot outside, and I'm like, you know what? Also pulling that out this summer.
It's just my classic summer boner, man.
We've all been there. We've all had a summer boner.
And I mean, in the hardest, no fucking pun intended, fucking flex, she's just like, all right, then fucking Julio, I'm getting in the backseat, you fuck me real quick. And he gets to, it's so perfect how well she plays them, is that Tenoch, like in front of him, is like, at least when they fucked before, they thought there was some sort of clandestine, like feature to it. This time, Tenoch is there. He's aware of it. It's happening one way or another, whether he stays or not, and he fucks off and is just like so emotionally upset about it. And in like the perfect acting moment where he like leaves the car, pulled over, goes and hides by a tree to like just start blasting Stokes, he jumps up to look if they're actually still going to do it, as if they're not just fucking with him.
That's so funny, and I think she's she really plays it well. I think she really is such a good actress in this movie.
Yes. So she's like, okay, cool. There you go. You boys both got fucking late on your summer trip. Let's continue on. And
let's go.
And Tenoch can't let it go. So he immediately goes into like, I fucked your girlfriend too. And unfortunately, rather than like where it was unbelievable towards Tenoch, Julio immediately puts the pieces together. He's like, it was after that concert, huh? Like, it was after you insisted that you dropped me off first. And he's like, yeah, and her panties were pink. And they immediately start jumping into like all the details that he knew he was going to ask him because he asked him the night before.
Right.
And he just starts unloading onto him. And it's the funniest fucking shit in the world, because Julio pulls the fucking car over and Tenoch rolls the window up and locks the door because he knows he's got an ass beating coming. Immediately,
and the funny thing was, he's getting an ass. The ass beating's coming not because he slept with his homie's girlfriend. It's because he made him stay up all night explaining how
humility,
knowing that he had done the same thing. He's just like, you sat there and bitched the entire time.
Well, I like it too when he spits on the window and he immediately calls him low class trash. Yeah, it's like that's the first time he's really used his privilege against him of him being like an upper class kid, and for him to be like, no, well, that you're poor, that's why you're spitting at the window and you're getting mad at me. You're mad at me,
yeah, you're
like,
trashy.
Come on.
You're
exactly.
Yeah. And then Luisa storms out the car while we watch them like hash it the fuck out, and it is again. Don't have a 1-to-1, but I'm like, it's so real. Like, I feel like I've just so fucking been there with people.
It's her just telling you, man the fuck up. Like, what are you guys doing?
Spend the rest of your life being full of shit? Really? Like it's to hear that from the only adults quite literally in the car nor the room. I love the like
just for me. Like, I'm a hot girl in your car right now, and all you guys can do is think about each other.
Yes, and all you want to do is fuck each other, and it's like, it's one of those where I'm like, I think she's onto something, as opposed to where like don't get me wrong, I love Lord of the Rings. I also hate where people are like, Sam and Frodo want to fuck the whole movie. I'm like,
right,
literally that movie is so sexless that I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
which fine, have your readings of it however you want to. Like, there's no shame in that.
The author, right?
Yeah, this one feels a bit more express.
Yeah.
So she storms off, and like they realize they have to stop their arguing, or they're going to lose her entirely, and all this will really been for naught. And also, how the fuck are they going to get home? So I love the get out of the car, back up. Like, if you get the fuck out of the way, I will get on my knees and apologize to you. And he does it so half-assed. The first time, like, here, sorry, fuck your girlfriend, fuck you.
he gets on one knee and then he goes, "No, get on both knees." And he gets on both knees. He's like, "Okay."
Yeah, and they immediately try to get Louisa back in the car, and this is where I think like she shines the whole movie, like she really like takes over the entire movie right here, where she just exclaims, here's the new manifesto, and it applies to this trip, and if you break it even once, I'm fucking out of here. You all need to get over your shit. You also, the second I'm fucking uncomfortable, the second I'm not like, I don't know, also I'm not lifting bags. Any labor, you guys are fucking doing it. Like she immediately turns it into what she wanted, I think, the whole time, which was a vacation, her proper send off to where life is taking her, and they agree wholeheartedly and like so bitterly just have to sit and accept. Like, this is bullshit.
This movie's really good.
It's so good that I'm so glad that we're reviewing a good movie for once.
Yeah, for real.
Because it's like, as much as there's like this nostalgia bait or affinity for stuff from this time, I'm like, but this was good when I saw it, and it's even better now that I'm a stupid adult, not a stupid kid.
I'm so glad we watched this as an adult. Like I don't think I probably would have done this without doing it for like a podcast, shit like that.
Right.
And yeah, just awesome.
Aw. You want to jerk off with the diving boards later?
I'm already doing it, but
yeah, I was gonna say we're already halfway there, bud.
2 steps way ahead of you.
I don't have a diving board, but I got the other stuff.
Oh, I've seen your diving board. Anyways, sorry, it's a compliment.
yeah.
So the road trip continues, and it's again all of this with Mexico in the backdrop. With they're still so caught up in their feelings, they're just oblivious to all of it going on, and they realize at a certain point they're gonna have to confront the fact that they bullshit her on whether this beach even exists.
Yeah, well,
and
there's
also
a scene
Saba's
where
directions.
there's a scene where she's sleeping in the car, but they don't know if she's fully asleep, and they don't want her to know that they're full of shit. So they're just like, just turn at the road, I guess. He said there's a dirt road, so we'll turn there. Because if she finds out we're full of shit, she's out of here.
Yeah, well, not only that too, like she pretends to be asleep because as much as she's like laid out the law in front of them, she's like, yeah, these guys are way too fucking volatile. I don't actually literally trust them, and like, yeah, I might have fucked them, but they might be fucking psychotic if they're behaving like this, you know. And it's such a real like, like, and they're oblivious to it the entire time, but they also are so on board with her new manifesto that they don't. You could see it bubbling underneath them. That they're not going to call each other an idiot for taking wrong directions or for peeling off the road, and they even get the car stuck. Get the car completely stuck in the sand. And
which I like this part because instead of them like freaking out on each other, they just go, you know what? We're not going to deal with it right now. We're just gonna not even do anything.
Yeah.
Which I think is great.
Like, we're done here. We're done. We're just stuck.
Yeah.
We're stuck.
Yeah.
That's the end.
So the sun rises, and Louisa did eventually find her sleep. You know, like they were able to behave themselves well enough that she could comfortably sleep around them in the back seat. And lo and behold, where did they end up?
A beautiful heaven's mouth.
And
a beautiful beach.
I mean, it is a truly beautiful beach.
So
it is a beautiful beach. It's
God.
really beautiful. It truly looks like paradise.
Yes.
Yeah. The ocean's beautiful. Chewie's there. It's great. It has everything you need.
Yeah, we get introduced to the best character of the movie, and that's Chewie. Chewie's the homie.
They set up camp on this beach, and there's still like the tension of never not addressing anything that anybody has a problem with, but they're all doing it for Louisa's sake for once, not for their own selfish bullshit. But the boat comes by and asking if they wanted to buy some fish, and they're like, it's what is it like? 80 pesos for a tour and a fish. And I was like, I did the math in my head. And I was like, trying to adjust for the economy. And I'm like, so for $3?
I'm just getting fresh fish. Hell yeah.
Let's fucking go. So we meet Chewie, Jesus Chewie and his family and his wife and his young kids. And they have this very charmed tour of this whole area they're at. They're oblivious to that it even existed. And while on the boat, he's like, oh, we're going to go here. We're going to go here. And like tomorrow, I'm going to take you guys to Heaven's Mouth. And the gold was really at the end of the rainbow on this one, where they realize that like maybe they're not full of shit. Maybe like Heaven's Mouth is this attainable thing.
Yeah.
And it's just this very the narrator comes back in and starts explaining like as much as you've like grown accustomed to Chewie and how nice he is and how like again it really does try to paint Mexico in this light of but there's honest people here. There's just honest people, and it doesn't matter how like little
He's
they
just a
have.
guy who's just trying to start a business. He's saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, I want
All
to try
he
to start
has
a
is-
tour business."
All he has is his family and a boat, but he also uses that same family to endear himself to people. Where Louise immediately takes to the children. His wife tells her like, "You're about like 30 now." She's like, "You really need to think about having kids." He's like, "You're so good with kids. I think you need them." And again, she's oblivious, and it all plays into that, like how people talk to you when they think you have so much life on the clock.
Right. And it's again, and I think the narrator says that Chewie ends up just becoming a janitor.
Yeah,
And
so like this beautiful slice of paradise has already been purchased. They're going to break ground on construction for some sort of resort there. And as much as Chewie's like, well, it doesn't matter if there's people from the resort. I sell fish. I do like he leads this very like minimalist life, and it's so
very easy,
so charming that you want to. I would love a vacation like this, but it's even saying that like this encroaching capitalism will undo him, and no matter how much he strives to maintain. Now, granted, it doesn't end in like abject tragedy. It's not that like his wife and his kids will be taken from him or whatever. It's no like you'll try your best to lead this
have
life of
a
true
modern
independence.
Life.
Yeah, this of true independence.
No matter
in exchange for being a part of this machine that will take over what was once beautiful and just be there for other people to enjoy, and a facsimile of what was once beautiful. Nobody will ever have this trip that they have had.
No matter where you are, I mean, they're literally at the analogy for heaven. You're still not safe. You know that it's gonna find you. Like society and all this bullshit that comes with it's gonna find you.
This new optimistic, you could say, however, party for Mexico is like it's still going to like industrialize and take over and kind of strip of it this natural beauty that is of the world, which is closer to heaven, like you said, and they come back to their camp and it's been raided by wild boars. So we come back to the beach and we see that their tents have been ravaged by capitalist pigs.
Oh, see now we're cooking.
I didn't see that actually first. Sorry, we had a little bit of interference, and Robbie pointed out, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I'm so dumb." I thought I was so smart for a second.
Yeah, you mean the pigs who come in and eat where you shit and shit where you eat? That's seems very on the nose, in a very good way.
Yeah, I don't want the shit on my nose. Luckily,
they also disease people later because it's like 3 of these pigs will get people sick.
Yeah, there's an outbreak of trichinosis whenever they're served to people once the resort is opened up.
Yep.
But now that their camp is destroyed and their car is fucking stuck in the mud, luckily Chewie comes in clutch and is going to take them to like a little beach fishing village where we get to the title of the movie. So everyone's fucking shitty. Everyone's fucking drunk. They're boys are now full blown like, you know what? I guess it's not that bad. Hell, fuck it. Let's just air all of our bullshit. So they start talking about how they didn't each fuck each other's girlfriend once. They've been fucking each other's girlfriends the entire time.
I also like Louisa going, yeah, I knew he was cheating on me. Like I knew the whole time.
Yeah. And I love like based on our earlier conversation, being like, where do you think I came up with the finger in the ass thing? Or it's like he was good at it. And it's like here's the thing about being good at sex stuff is that you have to learn it from somebody. You don't just hear about it and go for it. Like you have to learn it from somebody. So she's like, I know he was cheating on me. And this is like maybe the most charming scene of the movie where everyone is just shit-faced and being obnoxious as possible. And even though Chewie's playing poker with the boys, they keep trying to include him. They're like, what's the best thing in the world? Getting fucked, fucking, getting drunk, who cares?
Pussy, yeah.
He's just like, yeah.
It was the first time in the hour and 45-minute runtime, they are all on the same page. And everything is about like, none of this shit fucking matters, man. Like, just, here, fine, like, get it all out of your system and you think, at least you think we were watching it, that it's like this is the bonding moment that's gonna bring them all together.
And they all
definitely does.
They're all brought together.
Oh wait, what? Oh fuck! I didn't mean to be profound. So this very nice wonder of Luisa picking the song in the jukebox, taking the tequila with the worm, being real hot, being real
Starting to
seductive.
dance all sexy, yeah.
We get the poster for the fucking movie, which is her dancing between them, and it's a very perfect fucking
If
shot.
you've seen
you know?
one scene from this movie, you've seen that scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. For the longest time, I didn't even know what the movie would look like or whatever. I just knew that poster about like two guys dancing with one girl, and I thought it was way more rom-com than it ended up being.
That's a rom-com, classic rom-com.
Classic rom-com.
Who's gonna end up with her?
And someone jizzes in the pool, and it's all fun.
Yeah. So we go back to their hotel room, and the hot and heaviness continues, and it doesn't just continue. And I mean, do any of you boys wanna just
well? So
go
she
for the
starts
final
kissing,
fucking
she starts
twist?
kissing on one boy, then she starts kissing on the other boy, and
That's
then
crazy.
she gets down on her knees, and the boys look at each other in the eyes, and they go, "Wait a second." I think when she was telling us that we want to fuck each other, she was onto something here. And they just start kissing.
This is when our
start doing hot stuff.
This is when
and it's very
our
passionate kissing too.
Like she just started clapping and like literally giving the Arsenio hoot. Like I knew it was coming. Yes, you fucking stupid boys, just fuck each other.
Did it? You sons of bitches finally did it.
And this is where I'm like, actors have the best job in the world.
But it's like I like it too because it's very passionate kissing. It is not just like a little peck here or there. It is like they go for it, man.
I mean, all this pasión from all the shit they've just been through and all the stuff that's like laid out in the open. And it's like I think we start out with jerking off into the pool. We go on to like everybody's been fucking each other's girlfriend. Everyone's horned up. Everyone's also like they bust in 30 seconds.
They're also drunk and
we're also drunk. We're also it's this apotheosis of honesty of like the whole like they don't even love their girlfriends, but they do love each other, and that's why any and all of this has been so fucking painful. And then they said in the most valid way of like oh my god, you guys just fuck each other already. Being in this dick wagging competition, they're no longer in competition. They both get the gold.
Yeah,
right there.
That is heaven's mouth.
Whoa.
So I mean, like, just the fact that it's like an hour and 40-minute build up to this punchline is so fucking good that it's like that's what it all fucking comes down to.
It's all sexual tension until that tension is released. It feels good when it happens.
Forever. What's brilliant is I don't think they ever confront it ever again for the rest of their lives.
No, that's where I really figured out what the whole point of the movie was these two boys afraid to really go after what they desire, and because he says Tenoch he doesn't become a writer, he goes into economics. And
yes. Well, I mean, just before we get to the final closing, like they wake up in the morning like blissfully both aware and unaware because Luis is already up and she's already enjoying
and she's vibing
the spoils of the day. I think she's metaphorically already passed on to heaven. She's where she wants to be. She's found this serenity,
this little piece of paradise. Yeah,
with these kids and this family and this very simple remove all the bullshit from life way of living. Meanwhile, Tenoch and Julio wake up, immediately look at each other, still butt naked, immediately put together that like that wasn't a dream. They literally did that, and immediately have their core shook.
Yeah, when throws up.
Yeah.
Right. There's definitely no symbolism in that, but yeah,
no,
definitely not an ounce of gay panic anywhere. But they are just in denial. And Luisa knows, and she tells them like, "I'm staying here. You guys go on back home." Like we made it to the part that I was getting to. This is after we've already had the scene where she's one last phone call with her husband, and tells him like I know I've got enough money, and it's like whatever enough money is to her is like, is that enough to live a long time? It's like, oh, it's not, So
yeah, I took way less than you think. Like
yeah, like it's also like it's fucking 80 pesos a day to like just fish unlimited,
just hang out on a beach. Yeah.
And the narrator kicks back in and the boys go back home with little fanfare. Like nothing goes wrong on the trip home. They also don't talk that much. They just ride it out. They don't make anywhere near as many stops. There's not as much to figure out anymore. Like they got to the bottom of it.
Unfortunately, they didn't stick with it. Like, again, that's why I said this movie is about these boys not really following their desires and what they're wanting, because that's what the whole movie I think is ultimately about, is the notion of following what you really want in life.
Mm-hmm.
And these two boys, what they really wanted was to fuck each other and be with each other, but they couldn't come to that conclusion.
There's way more fanfare over the dissolution of their friendship than there was, as the narrator tells us, like, from the moment the girls get off the plane, they break up with both of them. Which, I mean, you do whatever you want with that information. You could lead to believe that, like, they didn't last either. They immediately went and got hooked up with whoever on their European vacation.
Yeah.
And then the fact, like, they I don't think the boys are really heartbroken about it. They're heartbroken about it when the betrayal is there, but it's like they just accept it and move on. And then Tenoch, being the I think the boys are equally handsome in their own ways, but Tenoch also has he's rich, and he's like 2 months later he was already dating his neighbor, and the two he like stayed with. And then it took Julio like a good 9 months before he dated a girl from one of his classes. And then we are led to a time jump where they're both no longer like high school boys, but college men.
They meet at a coffee shop.
Yeah, they meet each other on the street, agree to meet for coffee since they're already there, and kind of catch each other up. And this is like this is what really seals it.
I thought it was interesting because they're catching each other up on each other's lives and also like friends, and then they specifically point out like, oh, one of our friends is gay now, and their dad
he was gay earlier, and that's why he wasn't like quite as close as them.
Yeah.
He said like, oh, he's queened out.
Yeah, he's queened out, but the reaction to was you from one of them, and the other one's like, no, I'm good. That's actually fine. It's good. It's good for them.
Yeah. It's he really like went down that path of like hedonism, and it's like no, like he's just so fully committed to the lifestyle. It's like he's actually got a long-term partner. They've been together for like a while now. Like, yeah, like it worked out. It's like even that guy grew up, and it's like you can't kind of dismiss the paths of others because at least that guy is living his truth. Like you can't just dismiss it on the. Yeah, and
because again, like I said, Tenoch didn't become a writer. He went to go for economics. He went with what his dad wanted for him, and they didn't really get to live their life that they probably could have had if they had actually confronted what they really wanted. But
yeah, I don't know how much of it is like whether they really wanted each other, but I think it was just the fact that they were living under the auspices of being so close, but like also so full of fucking shit. Like neither of them were honest with each other, and then in turn they weren't honest with themselves. And
yes,
I also think that like it's reality shaking that they then didn't like end up together after hooking up. In fact, they were so disturbed by it that they never.
And I also don't necessarily.
They spent the rest of their lives avoiding it.
Yeah, and I don't even necessarily think it's them literally being gay. I mean, I think that's a piece of it, but I think it's more of this like this big general existential idea of just living how you want to live and not through others.
It's the love versus the hedonism, because as much as they claim to be affected by loving their girlfriends, they were trying to cheat on them, and what breaks their hearts is that not that they fucked each other's girlfriends, but they betrayed each other. So it's this hedonism versus love. And here they are, like they have both different like little hairstyles. They're dressed a little different. Julio is now in biology, and then Tenoch drops on him Luis's fate, which is like she died 2 months after that trip. Like they've been avoiding it for years, but like Julio, the man, like respected her wishes, told her husband nothing, but did find a way to reach out to Tenoch and fill him in on it, which he's been sitting on. And he tells to Julio is that like she apparently was like, no form of treatment cancer. It was already all over her body, and she was that they put it together like that's what that was all about. Was that was her send off? Is that they took her to paradise?
I mean, honestly, one last lesson for them from her too.
Yeah. And I mean, they could have continued their lives being full of shit, and maybe even ending much more tragically if they let that continue on into their adulthood. But no, and And then we're given like the last line of the movie, which is like the most heartbreaking part of it, because you're like, but why? And you fill your head with whatever why, but like after this coffee trip, they never see each other again. And
Yeah.
the like the fact that they have all this opportunity, but they just lack the experience, and much like they said, like, you're going to be a writer, but you have no experience, and like the first thing that gave him experience took him away from his writing, and the funny duality between just being young and stupid versus like having actually gone through some shit. Like, yeah, this guy's your best friend, sure. It's all talk, it's all show, much like how you discuss sex, but when you're confronted with the reality of it, like, yeah, you
just turn
had
away.
the experience and then nothing else. And then that's it. And that's the end. And man, like, fuck, if that didn't like just destroy me. It destroyed me the first time, when even as a teenager, I was like just so mad that they couldn't remain friends. But now, how many watching it now, the closer I am to 40, like, yeah, how much of life has just been experiences, and it's just that little moment, and like you can be best friends with somebody, but like they're just there. It's that analogy of like you're riding a train somewhere. That is your life, and some people get on, and some people are gonna get off at the same stop as you, but a lot of people are getting on. They're getting off at an early stop, and that was it.
And that's something I've had to confront a lot of times in my life now, especially as we get older, where you meet people in your life that are very important to you for 2, 3, 4 years or whatever, and then at a certain point they're just kind of gone. And you might catch them on Instagram every once in a while. You might send them a message or a reel or something, but it's just like, wow, this person went from being so important to me to just kind of being there.
But so, I mean, that's Y Tu Mamá También. And I'm so glad we did this as an episode and we talked about a real movie, because I was really worried that people would be worried that we're only talking about dumb teenager cinema. And it's ironic that dumb teenagers in the cinema pulled us out of that. But also just to be like, I think we're going to get more broad with that. Like, we're just going to be, with no rhyme and reason, just firing away at the dartboard, or movies that are special to us, like just tackling this whole decade. And I think this is one of the more formative movies, because Cuarón went and directed some pretty impactful pieces throughout this decade. So we'll definitely be getting more into him later, after we get some more.
He's a very important filmmaker, and like we talked about at the beginning, of like, this was a movie that was on IFC all the time. Like, that's how I ended up watching it. It would come on all the time, so I would just end up watching it, and whether I fully understood it or not, it still stuck with me for a long time, to the point where, like, I remember years later just being like, oh yeah, I really like that movie. And I stuck with Alfonso Cuarón a lot because I really like Children of Men, and all that kind of stuff. So did he do Pan's Labyrinth?
That was Guillermo.
That was Guillermo del Toro. Okay. Yeah. But similar, Spanish movies, but that's neither here nor there.
Mexican directors, yes, fine. But they came up in this decade, and that all comes back into what we're talking about, is like how this decade formed what we're looking forward to now. Which is why, like, I'm excited to get into a Iñárritu movie next, because his shit is not sentimental at all. His shit is just mean spirited from start to finish.
And as if to cap this episode off for me, my power has just come back. So
fuck you, Hunter. Fuck you.
He did it on purpose.
He did it on purpose. So yeah, for those of you who might have noticed,
put up with the technical difficulties. If I sound terrible, that's why. The end of the episode was me on my phone. So there you go.
You know what?
That holding storm, as we've learned from this movie.
That was. You know what? I'm so pissed off right now. That's the way we're gonna end this. That was Turn Off the Century. Now turn off the damn podcast.
Wait. We should tell them what we're doing next, in case they want to watch the movie, in case they haven't seen it.
The next movie we are planning to do right now is World's Greatest Dad, starring Robin Williams, directed by Bobcat Goldthwait. So seek it out. Watch it.
Yeah, check it out. See if you like it. I'm not saying you're gonna like it, but you should.
I really like it.
On this podcast, develop a parasocial relationship where you're like, actually, like, I'm like a Hunter stan.
If you don't like it, I'm gonna turn your power off.
Oh no! Turn off the power.
Right. You end the episode on "I got the power."
Turn off this podcast.
Turn off the damn podcast. I'm done with this.